You're gonna have two enum classes, one for suits and one for values. Values are gonna have a hard-coded integer to it, so you can do arithmetic methods later on in calculations. Your card is gonna have an constructor using values and suits, and it's gonna create that card with those two values, and then you're gonna have get values and get suits for integers and the string. Your deck is gonna have two main parts of it that's pretty difficult was for each loop nested in each other to create cards, and then those cards are going to add it to the deck. You have a two string to print the deck, and your shuffle is just going to have this shuffle method. Your shuffle is going to create a new dynamic card array and then an int random, and then the random is going to generate an integer depending on the length of your array, and it's going to hold it into the integer variable. Your card variable is going to hold the card that you get from the deck through the random index, and then the index is going to be removed two, and then you're going to put it into your new dynamic array, the card. And then in your second one, you're going to create a variable to hold your card that you get from your new dynamic card array, and you add it back into the deck in a different order as you were. And then your second thing is just to get from the top. Just to get from top is basically draw using the dynamic card array. Your dynamic card array, everything is the same from your dynamic string array. It's just, except that your string is going to just replaced by cards, and everything is just cards instead of strings. The thing that I added was get card from top. Your get card from top is you create a card array, a card method variable called first card, and you're going to take this from the index 0, and you're going to equal it to each other. Then you're going to remove it from index 0, and then you're going to return that card. Your dealer is going to have two string, and then calculate value. To calculate value, your value is going to be what determines who wins or loses, and that value on aces, which can be 1 or 11s, it's going to be dependent, automated off of the fact that if your sum is originally less than 10 or it's greater than 10. If it's less than 10, it's going to be plus 11. If it's greater, it's going to be plus 1, and it's going to return that sum. Your boolean is dhand bust is just going to calculate that value, and if it's greater than 21, it's going to be bust, and it's going to take the money. It's going to show you that you won this certain amount and result true, and it's going to break the loop that you're in by returning a result boolean. And then for your player, it's going to be a two string, and then you're going to calculate value. This time it's going to be by a choice, by a string you inputted, and it's going to be 1 or 11, and that's going to determine whether your aces are going to be 1 or 11. It's going to increment it to a sum and return that sum. Your hand is the same thing. It's going to be if it's greater than 21, it's a bust, you lost, and then you have this certain amount of money, as you return true, and you break the loop. Or else it's going to just write your total sum is this amount of points, and then it's going to return a result as false. In your blackjack, you initialize variables. Your total money is going to be hard coded, and it's going to ask you, do you want to read the rules? And then you can read the rules if you wanted to. Your game is going to be in a while loop, and it's going to be a new deck, shuffle, your new player, new dealer objects, and then it's going to ask you how much you want to input as a bet. You're gonna make a bet that is contained within your total money, and you put the bet, and you're gonna draw cards to each hand, and then you're gonna ask if you want to hit after printing it out. You're gonna ask, do you want to hit or stand? If you hit, it's gonna ask you if your aces want to be 1s or 11s. You're gonna input it, and then it's gonna go back to the original by the continue, and then say, do you want to hit or stand? This time, if you want to hit it, it's gonna go straight to the dealer's turn, and then the dealer's gonna automate it. It's gonna take the calculated sum, and if it's over 17, it's gonna not do anything and just gonna break the loop. If it's less, then it's gonna draw a card and recalculate it, do it again, and if until it breaks. And then these three are just different conclusions to your game. It's gonna two of them are wins, and one of them's a loss, either equal, less than, or greater than. Both all for the dealer. Then not playing, game over. This is just a loop that checks if you have money left. If you don't have money left, it's just gonna break the game, break the loop. This is gonna be a method, not a method, but a part of the game where it's gonna ask you if you want to play or leave the game. If you play again, it's gonna continue straight back to the beginning of the loop, and if you say you want to leave, it's gonna break. You have helper methods. This is just to print out your rules and regulations and your value of the cards. Your outcome of bet is just to take the bet and then double it and then add it to your total bet, just to create the fact that you incremented your amount of money you have, and it's going to print out two different statements. Depends if you win or lose. It's going to return that integer. Your boolean game over true is going to return a boolean, and it's just checking if your total money is equal to 0. If it is, it's going to return true. If not, it's going to return false. The rest are just check uh, methods for data validation. So now you're gonna play the game. When you play the game, it's gonna ask you, do you want to repeat, or do you want to read the rules? And you write yes, and then you're gonna ask how much you want to bet. You can put like $86 and say how much you have left, how much you bet. You have 5 4, so you hit, and you make it equal to 11, and you have 15, so you hit, and you make it to 1. You hit again and you make it equal to 1. 7, 18, you don't want to risk it, so you stand on it. You lost because the dealer had a bigger number than you. This, and then